Welcome to Hands-on Equations Level 1. Would you believe me if I told you that in about a week I could have you solving equations for x like this? Would you believe me that I could have you in, I don't know, less than 10 minutes doing algebra? And would you believe me if I told you you could do all of that with a smile on your face? It is true. And it is true with the help of these guys and hands-on equations. We're going to use the hands-on equations mat that looks like this and these materials to learn how to do algebra. A few things you need to know first. In this particular balance, the two sides are always equal. We've used some balances in class that can tip to show greater than or less than, but in this particular balance, this side is always equal to this side, and you can use the middle to think about the equal sign. Next thing you need to know is that this is called a pawn. These are called pawns, and these stand for our unknown amounts. We've already seen probably the video about variables, and so this is representing a variable. For right now, we're only going to use the blue pawns. Also, these are number cubes, and you'll notice that there's a low number cube that goes 0 through 5, and then there's a high number cube that goes 6 through 10, and you should have at least 2 of the low ones and 2 of the high ones. And for right now, we're only going to use the red. I would thank you in advance for leaving the white pawns and the green number cubes in your bag. So let's go ahead and start. Let's set up an equation on our equation mat. I'm going to put one blue pawn on the left-hand side, and I'm going to put 1, 5 on the right-hand side. You are always going to set up your mat so that the number that we are using on the number cube is facing up, straight up, so that you are looking at it. That lets you and me both see exactly what number you've put on your balance. So if I have set up this equation here, this says that the pawn equals 5. We can immediately see, because we know that this is a balanced scale, that this pawn is worth 5. That was an easy one. Now let's clear our balance and try another one. This time I'm going to put 2 pawns on the left-hand side, and I'm going to put an 8 over here. I can now try to figure out what is 1 pawn worth. Well, if I know that these pawns are worth the exact same amount, this one is worth this one in this case. It's not worth what it was before. It changes every time we do a new equation. But the only thing that I can add to itself, something plus that same thing again to get 8, is 4. 4 plus 4 equals 8. So in this case, the pawn is worth 4. Let's do an even harder example and demonstrate how we're going to use guess and check to solve what the pawn is worth. This time I'm going to put 2 pawns and a 2 on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, I'm going to put an 8 and a pawn. And at first, we're just going to use guess and check to see if we can figure out what it is. It makes sense every single time to start as low as we possibly can and then work our way up as we find out that the low numbers don't work. So let's see if the pawn could be worth 1. And I'm going to sort of add on or count as I go. This is 1, plus 1 would be 2, plus 2 would be 4. So if the pawn was worth 1, this side is worth 4. Over here, if this is 8, plus 1 more would be 9. Since 4 does not equal 9, the pawn can't equal 1. So now I'm going to try 2. 2, 4, 6 on that side, if each were worth 2. Over here, 8 plus 2 makes 10. They're not equal. Now I'm going to try 3. 3, 6, 7, 8. Well, that's not going to work because that's 8 plus 3 more. Let's try 4. 4, 8, 10. Over here, 8 plus 4 equals 12. That 10 does not equal 12. Let's try 5. This would be 10 plus 2 more is 12. 8 plus 5 is 13. Oh, we're getting close, but that doesn't work. Let's try 6. 6, 12, 14. So this side equals 14. 8 plus 6 equals 14. 14 equals 14. That tells me that each pawn is worth 6. We found it using guess and check. When we would write our answer, we would say this. The pawn we're now going to call x, or the variable x. The x equaled 6, and we would do it by checking it by saying what this whole side of the equation is worth and this whole side of the equation is worth. So again, I did 6, 12, 14. Yeah, 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 2 more is 14. Over here, 8 plus 6 is 14. So I wrote 14 equals 14, and since that's true, I put a small little check. So you have to do this for every single answer. In a few minutes, or very soon, you're going to start by doing the very first lesson on the hands-on equations sheet. And you will see here that you'll be given a problem. You're going to set this problem up on your mat, and then you'll have to figure out what x is equal and check it on this line. So let's do 2 problems together, and then you'll be ready to go doing some algebra today. Awesome. For the first one, if you were given this problem on your worksheet, you would set up 3 pawns on the left and a 9 on the right. And then you would try to figure out, using guess and check, what the pawn would equal. So 1 plus 1 plus 1, that would be 3. That doesn't equal 9. 2, if I tried 2, 2, 4, 6. No, that's too small. Let's try 3. 3, 6, 9. Oh, that's it. The pawn must equal 3. And then I check it by saying what this side is worth and what this side is worth. 3, 6, 9. This side is worth 9, and then I put an equals and a check because it worked. One last example problem. Each time be sure to clear your mat before you start. I'm going to put on a pawn and a 6, and then I'm going to put on 2 pawns and a 4. So now I'm going to try, let's start easy, let's start with 1. 1 plus 6 would be 7. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 4 is 6. 1 doesn't work. Let's try 2. 2 plus 6 is 8. 2, 4, plus 4 is 8. Ah, x equals 2. The pawn equals 2. So then I go back to the beginning and I check it. If this was 2, 2 plus 6 is 8. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 4 is 8. That worked. I can check it. All right, you have everything you need to know to go ahead and begin with lesson 1. Good luck. Have fun with algebra.